Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're putting two PRV Audio 4-channel amps head-to-head.
Yeah, we've got the QS 1200.4 2-ohm and the smaller MDX 1200.4 2-ohm.
Oh, exactly. Both are aimed at, high-performance systems,
Mm.
but they cater to slightly different needs, different preferences.
That's a good way to put it. The QS series, it's more about efficient design, full range sound, good price point.
And the MDX.
The MDX is really engineered for getting big power out of a really small space, high definition sound tech in there too.
Okay, so our mission today is pretty clear. Highlight the key differences, help you figure out which one might be the better fit for your specific audio setup.
Let's do it. Where should we start? QS 1200.4.
Yes, sounds good. So the QS 1200.4 2-ohm, part of that QS series. The big thing here is efficiency and full range frequency response without, breaking the bank.
And that regulated power supply is pretty crucial.
Right. Why is that so important again?
Well, it basically means consistent power delivery. So even if your car's voltage dips or spikes a bit, the amp keeps feeding the speakers steadily. Plus, it's efficient, like 80–90%.
Less wasted energy, less strain on the electrical system. Makes sense.
Exactly.
And the power numbers, they look pretty solid.
Yeah, 4 channels, 310 watts RMS each at 2 ohms.
Or 160 watts RMS at 4 ohms.
And you can bridge it, right? Get 2 channels of 600 watts RMS at 4 ohms.
Nice. It uses that digital Class D Brazilian technology. Class D generally means efficient power in a smaller size, right?
Pretty much. And this one's, about 8 by 8.5 inches, roughly? And under 3 inches tall. So compact, but not tiny.
Still pretty manageable. And versatile, too, with that wide frequency response. 20 hertz all the way up to 24,000 hertz.
So it can handle subs, mids, highs, pretty much anything you throw at it.
It's got fixed crossovers, though. High pass and low pass, both at 90 hertz. Simple setup.
Yeah, straightforward. Weighs about 4.5 pounds. Needs a bigger fuse, though, 80 amps.
Okay. Average efficiency around 84%. Musical current draw is 55 amps. And minimum 14-gauge speaker wire.
Standard RCA inputs, built-in cooling fan. Seems reliable.
And the price seems pretty good, around $180, give or take. People seem to like the quality, the power, especially for highs.
Okay, so that's the QS. Now let's switch gears to the MDX 1200.424. Ohm, the tiny one.
Yeah, MDX series, high power, very little space. That's the mantra here. They talk about patented tech for high-def sound.
And tiny is the word. It's significantly smaller than the QS, under 7 inches wide, under 6 inches long, still about 2.6 inches high.
Wow, okay, that's a big difference. You can see why they mentioned motorcycles, ATVs, places where space is just gone.
And it's light, too, only 2.75 pounds, almost half the weight of the QS.
But the power still packs a punch, right?
Oh, yeah. 300 watts per channel at 2 ohms. That's true ERMS power they emphasize.
Slightly less than the QS's 310, but still very strong. And 200 watts at 4 ohms.
And bridging gives you the same 600 watts RMS at 4 ohms minimum, so bridge power is identical.
Also, Class D Brazilian tech. Frequency response is a bit narrower, though, 10 hertz to 20,000 hertz.
Right. Still very wide, but the QS goes a bit higher, up to 24K.
The fixed crossovers are different, too, 80 hertz for the MDX versus 90 hertz on the QS.
And check this out. Smaller fuse needed, only 60 amps.
Interesting. Even though the musical current draw is slightly higher at 60 amps compared to the QS's 55.
Yeah, a bit of a quirk there. Efficiency is just slightly lower, 82% average. They recommend thicker speaker wire, too, minimum 12 gauge.
Okay, RCA inputs again. And it has a mini heatsink plus a fan. So cooling is definitely a priority in that small chassis.
Price is just a tad higher. Maybe around $190 seems readily available.
And the feedback. People are impressed by the size-to-power ratio.
Totally. Small but mighty seems to be the theme. Great for tight installs like saddlebags, good sound quality, good power. Versatile when bridged.
Okay, let's recap the key differences then. Size and weight, MDX wins by a mile if space is your main concern.
Definitely. But the QS has slightly more RMS power per channel at 2 ohms, 310 versus 300. Small difference, but it's there.
And the QS has that wider frequency response, 20 to 24K versus 10 to 20K for the MDX. Might matter for some high-end tweeters.
Crossover points are slightly different, 90 hertz versus 80 hertz. And then the fuse and current draw differences we mentioned.
Plus the QS is usually a little bit cheaper.
So, yeah, trade-offs. The MDX is kind of purpose-built for those ultra-compact needs, like motorsports. Amazing power for its size.
Well, the QS 1200.4 is still compact, but offers maybe a touch more power per channel, wider frequency range, perhaps a bit more of an all-rounder, unless space is the absolute killer constraint.
Exactly. You got to think about where it's going, what speakers you're running, and your budget.
Both seem like really solid options, honestly. Delivering that much power in these small packages is pretty impressive technology.
Yeah, it really is. Which kind of makes you wonder.
What's that?
Well, with amps getting this small and still putting out serious power, how much further can they shrink things down before you have to start sacrificing performance? Where's that limit?
That's a fascinating thought. Something to keep an eye on for sure. Food for thought until our next deep dive.